Hey guys, Sarah here.
Lori here.
And welcome back to another episode of the Mindful Witchery podcast. So,
I'm so excited today.
We're so excited today. We have not one but two guests.
We are professionals. We are totally in the professional realm now. We have guests.
Yeah, and we were only going to have one today, and then now we have two. So, just introduce them. So we have our friend Sarah Adam here today. So Sarah is a local artist, and I'll have her talk about herself soon. But I also have my mom here with me today, and she's very embarrassed to start talking. So, Mom, do you want to say hello?
She's so cute.
Hello. She's having issues today. So pretty much, they've never really recorded anything, and it's kind of nerve-wracking. So,
and we've recorded 3.
We are in it now.
So we are in it.
Yeah, you're professionals, so just work with us here.
And we're sitting here in this. We're sitting here in this gorgeous studio. I mean, I'm just sitting here having these great feelings. Like this energy is just so fantastic in this space, Sarah. It's just you've created something really amazing here.
Thank you for coming to the studio. I'm glad it was a process getting this place from a junk room into a really nice, calming space to do art and to share experiences like this with friends. It's exactly what
it's such a great space.
Met all the goals.
Because I saw it when you first picked it out, and it looks totally different.
The lady who took me on the tour was like, "Are you sure?" And I'm like, "Oh, I can make this happen. Give me 20 minutes."
Yeah, so pretty much we're in Sarah's studio right now. We actually just went on a beautiful walk through the Green River Cemetery. My mom and me and Sarah have all been there before, but Lori's never been there. Do you want to talk about
it? Was absolutely beautiful. And I know just getting out of the car and seeing you guys there, it just has such a nice atmosphere. You know how you go to some cemeteries and it's kind of like, I don't know. Immediately you feel like it's a welcoming place. And I love cemeteries anyway. We all in this group love cemeteries. But it really felt like a welcoming space where you could just go in. And we actually sat down in a space and some of us ate and everything. And now I totally get why Victorians thought that having picnics in a cemetery was a good idea. There is no more peaceful place in the world than a cemetery.
And it just feels so natural to me. And I know it's so weird to certain people that we hang out in cemeteries.
There are cemetery people.
Yeah, it's so normal. Yeah. I started a group called the Ladies Cemetery. What is it called? Luncheon. Oh my god! Ladies Cemetery Luncheon, and so we had
for everybody, not just ladies.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's for everybody.
It's just a fun name. It's really
yeah. I'll post the link below to the group. It's a private group, but if you totally want to join, we would love to have you. It's not all about being ladies either. It's just kind of
It's just a really cute name. It was a really, really good name.
In the late 1800s, people used to actually picnic after church and dress up in their finest.
Yep, it was literally a ladies' luncheon.
Yeah, it was a ladies' luncheon. Yeah, anybody's welcome.
Next time we should do it right. We should do it with our porcelain cups and our tea sets. A parasol. Yes.
A parasol too.
And so, amongst all of the slate tombstones and everything. I love slate tombstones. I've seen so many they're so grand and they're so big, like they're taller than me. Mm-hmm. And I think that's fascinating that somebody would need that much space. But where we used to put things like so and so died or born here, died here. These slate things, you can put an essay on those about a person, and I think that's so amazing that you get to read so much more about their life than just when they were born and when they died.
I love when they put when they died.
Yes.
That's the best. Cool. So we can we're going to actually talk about this in a little bit. But, so to start, I want to thank everybody for listening to our other podcasts. We have 1 and 2 out already. And what was the first one? We had
77 views, my son said.
Yeah, in a week. We have her on today because she also loves cemeteries as well, but she's also a local artist and a doer of many things also, which we talk about a lot. Tell us a little about yourself.
A little bit about me. Yeah.
Where'd you grow up?
Yeah.
Who's your mom?
Well, if you want me to start from the beginning, yeah.
What are your deepest, darkest fears?
Not cemeteries. I was born in Lowell, Mass, and we moved to Orange when I was about 4. So I grew up in Western Massachusetts pretty much my entire life. And we've been exploring cemeteries pretty much the entire time, on and off, just exploring, because they're just fascinating, and it's a huge part of our history. And it's something we all should have a part of our life, to explore and see, who was there, and, their stories. These stones tell stories.
Mhm.
And it's really
Very
important
much.
to learn that part of the past and then what will shape the future. And actually, Sarah and I actually had was it the Gravestone Girls?
Yes.
They did a little seminar about the history of burial and graveyards and cemeteries at the Greenfield Public Library. And I learned so much in an hour that it was like a lifetime of
It was so fascinating.
Fascinating.
They
I
are
know so
fascinating ladies, the Gravestone Girls. I'll
Yep.
link that below as well.
yeah, definitely.
We'll
big
probably
shout
talk
out.
about them a million times.
Yep,
'cause,
they're great.
um,
So in addition to cemetery lore, I'm a local artist. I do illustration, I do graphic design. I'm actually the graphic designer for the Food Bank of Western Massachusetts. And I am a painter. I actually paint on slate. I find a lot of slate all over the area. Anyone who has a slate roof, they got pieces for me in their yard. So I collect it. Actually, the cemetery we're just at, the Green River Cemetery, there's a chapel that just sheds slate all day long.
yeah.
And I just go and collect, because once it hits the ground, nobody needs it. So I take that and I turn it into Western Mass inspired landscapes. Lots of trees and mountains and lakes and things. And if you look around in here, you'll see them all over the place.
Yeah, they're so cool. And I'll post some pictures too.
They are really
on our
cool.
Instagram and
I'm very inspired by the landscape of this area, and I want everyone to have a piece of it in there. And it helps that the substrate itself is part of the landscape, which is really a special thing. So
yeah, a lot of her paintings too are from like the Quabbin area. I own one of them, and it's like my favorite painting in the world. So, and you're in Worcester a lot too. Right?
Yep. This year I would have
not
been.
this year, but
No, I would have been at Start on the Street, this amazing local festival of artists all over the area. But of course, due to COVID, they are not doing that this year. But hopefully next year, and hopefully the years after that. So keep an eye out for all kinds of local artist happenings once we get back on track.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So buy her stuff.
It's
And
gorgeous. I'm
it's
sitting here looking
amazing.
around just...
Very challenging.
And
Thank
I'm going
you.
to post lots of pictures on our Instagram, and I will post her stuff below because she's
Thanks.
amazing. And how long have we known each other? I
I
wanted to talk about that for a second too. Like, we met, so by the time you listen to this, you'll already hear my talk about Brattleboro, Vermont for like a good hour. But Sarah and I actually met there.
Yep.
Under strange circumstances. So I was actually leaving. It was a goodbye party.
I met you when you were leaving. Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, she came to one of my many goodbye parties during my travels. So
Yep, I was immediately entranced by your Evergory tattoos. I was like, too
Yeah.
bad you're leaving. You seem pretty cool.
yeah, sorry. We always come back though.
Yep.
Anybody who lives there always comes back.
So it's been
It's one of those weird Vermont things.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And like I said, if you listen to our last, know my feelings about.
Oh. Should I push my my show that I'm having next month?
Hell yeah,
Yes.
you should. Talk
Okay.
all about
Absolutely.
yourself. This is what this is for.
So yeah, September 19th, 20th, that weekend, I'm going to be having an outdoor open air art event at my studio, which is on 76 Hope Street in downtown Greenfield. It's the Web Building. It's next to Inna Vintage, an amazing store you should check out. They are open.
I just bought something there.
Yeah, everybody buys something there.
Oh,
it's a great,
amazing.
it's a great store. So
Yeah.
I'm right next to them, and I'm gonna have like an open air kind of situation. You know, wear your masks. Everyone's gonna social distance, but you can come check out my art that way. And that's pretty much the weekend of what would have been Start on the Street. So this is kind of my nod to like memorialize what I would be doing this weekend. That
No.
weekend, yeah. So
Yeah, starts are great.
yeah, it's a bummer. Everyone's so sad, but we have no
Yeah.
choice. We gotta do what we gotta do. So everyone's kind of doing their own little private art things, you know. But, you know, if you want to stop by, if you're feeling comfortable, please do so. I'll have it on my page, madsahara.com. Mad Sahara on Facebook. So I'll keep you posted. If anything comes up and it doesn't feel safe, I'll let you know if I have to cancel. If you feel like you're not comfortable or have reasons you can't be out and about, just get a hold of me and you can come for a private, you know, you can come to the studio, we'll do our mask thing and whatever is comfortable and safe. Yeah, looking forward.
Yeah, everything she said. So we have Sarah on today. Like I said, it's only going to be Sarah, but we have my mom
Well, hello.
here. And I don't think you've done a couple of recordings with me like
I
years
have.
ago. We did
made
like
salsa.
we made salsa.
That was
Have you ever seen this, Sarah? I have this video of my mom and I. It's on. I took it down from YouTube. I have it somewhere, but it's my mom and I doing cooking, like a cooking show.
Oh my gosh.
We did.
Um,
We
I should be watching this right now.
Yeah.
It was probably like 5 years ago, 6 years ago now, when we lived in our old apartment, and it's a gem, and I need to find it.
It's a gem.
Oh, you definitely need
You
to
guys
find
have
it.
made some fun videos together. One of my favorites is when you were back from, I think, North Carolina, maybe? One of your travels, or maybe California. I don't know. You go places and come back a lot. And it was just Lee kind of wandering around the backyard going, Sarah, where are you? Where are you? And all of a sudden, your disembodied voice is like, I'm here. And you guys meet each other. And I'm like, this is amazing.
Oh
This
my
is
God.
the cutest video.
Yeah,
I remember that. So I was living out in California.
Okay. That was,
And I surprised my mom because I came home for Christmas. And she didn't realize I was coming home.
Right.
But I ended up surprising her and coming home. And I think it was like 2013.
oh my goodness.
No, 2014. That was
Wow.
2014. Long time ago.
Hey guys, this is Sarah from the future. I hope you guys are enjoying the podcast so far. So unfortunately, right when we were getting into my mom's interview part of this podcast, things got wonky. And so Lori and I are still learning audio. So thank you guys so much for being way too patient with us as we figure out technology and do our best. So pretty much my mom and I redid her section of this podcast. So right at the end, you guys get this super special bonus section where it's just my mom and I, and she gets her own little section because she's super special. And we tell stories of some of our travels and kind of things we went over in the interview. So I hope you guys enjoy. And right where this podcast is going to restart, we start talking about Southern barbecue, and we're going to go right into talking about cemeteries. So I hope you guys enjoy the next section of the podcast.
Isn't it amazing how time flies when you find something interesting and you just kind of go with it? Time just flies. And the food in Charleston. See, that's the thing. You go to Charleston when you're from up north, and the food is just phenomenal.
Oh my
It
God,
really
barbecue.
is. I mean, it's southern to its root, to its core, soul food, just fantastic.
There was a restaurant we went to, but it was closed the year after, remember?
Oh, was that the Thai
the
place?
tacos. I think it had tacos.
Oh, there was
And
a
they were
taco
closed.
place on King Street. It's like a barbecue place.
Mhm.
And because, so King Street in Charleston is this like really famous street. It's like the university's on that
Mhm.
street. There's all these stores, but over the years it's become kind of gentrified. Did I say that right? Gentrification.
Mhm.
Yeah, a lot of that has happened. So a lot of the rent has gone up. But oh my God, so there's so many great restaurants.
Yeah.
But from one year to the next, it looked totally different.
Yeah.
The restaurants change. You could tell that like things are getting bought up. But anyway, this barbecue place had the best everything. We
Yeah.
ate there for like 2 days.
Yeah, 2 days.
But now they have a food truck. I'm gonna look up the name of them because you probably know them. They're like rated like best barbecue in the South or something like that. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's funny when you move up here, like barbecue takes on a whole new value to you when you're from the South too, because like we come up here and there are barbecue places and we just go in and go, honey, bless your heart.
Yeah.
Bless your
tried.
heart.
Understandable.
You tried. And somehow I always end up going to places where they go, you're Southern, obviously. Can you try this?
Yeah.
And
You're
see
gonna
what you
love
think.
this.
You're going to love this. And it came out of a crock pot.
Oh no!
I'm like, look, if you don't smell the smell of barbecue, you have totally lost me in this. I mean, it is, we have yet to really find a great, super good place. By the way, guys, if you know of any really good barbecue places up in New England, please let us know.
What's the name of the place in Miller's Falls?
Oh, yeah. The North Village Smokehouse, I think.
Yeah.
That just sounds good.
It is really
That
good.
really
I mean,
sounds good. Smokehouse, you had me.
I'm a northerner, so, you know, I enjoyed it, but, you know, you'll have to be the judge.
It's really
good.
hard. It really is, because you come from a place that is so about barbecue, and 3 different kinds at that. I mean, you have Western North Carolina barbecue, you have Eastern North Carolina barbecue, and then you have South Carolina has their own take on, it's kind of a combo.
Yeah.
And then you come up here and you're looking for that taste, and it takes on a whole, it's almost like you're forced to kind of add something northern to it.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't taste the same.
Like maple syrup?
And I'm really, exactly.
A little maple action.
Yeah, and it's weird. There's this sweet kind of thing going on.
We got
that
sweet
just
up here. We brought you the fluffernutter, you know?
Oh, let me tell you about the fluffernutter. Let me tell you. I worked in Granby. I taught in Granby for about 6 months before I understood that what a fluffernutter was. They kept announcing it over the intercom before the nut allergy thing. They would say, today's alternative is fluffernutter. And finally, I got fed up. And I went up to the front desk and I said, could somebody please tell me what a fluffernutter is? I had no idea. And I tried one. Wasn't a fan. But it's grown on me over the years.
Mm-hmm.
It has grown on me.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
That's my meditation alarm.
It's
Actually,
time.
It's the perfect time for a segue.
Yeah.
Wait, we have to answer a question. So this question is open for everybody talking about. So this question is actually from my aunt, Dee Dee. Her name's Sandy. Actually, it's my mom's sister. And she sent us our first question. Thank you, Dee Dee, so much.
Thank you, Dee Dee.
She is amazing.
My sister.
Hi, Dee Dee.
Hey, Dee Dee.
She's going to love this. So I'm going to read her email to us. First, love the podcast and love the honesty. I was wondering more to the witchery side of your podcast name. Have either of you ever had any type of psychic experiences and feelings while visiting cemeteries or seeing things unexplainable? Sandy or Dee Dee to some. Thanks, Dee Dee. We love you too. All right. So, does anybody want to start? Like cemetery experiences.
Specifically in a cemetery?
Yeah.
Okay. There is a supposedly haunted cemetery in Orange called the Branch Bridge Cemetery. Mm-hmm. And I think the scariest part, because you have to do it at night, you gotta do the night thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah. So you drive over this bridge that's like a little land bridge with the water on both sides. A lot of people go there for fishing. But at night, it looks very spooky. You got the fog coming off the river, and it's like you're just on this like little land bridge, and then the cemetery is just tucked away. And there is definitely one of those stones that had one of those warnings on it. Every so often, you get a real fun folk who, they pass on and they're like, okay, I'm going to put something spooky on my stone just to mess with people.
Yeah.
And that was definitely there happening. I can't remember exactly what he said, but something to the effect of like, where you're standing now is where you'll be soon. And
Oh my God.
Okay, thanks, man. So that was where you would go to like scare yourself silly,
Mm-hmm.
just standing in the cemetery in the dark with the owls hooting and who else,
That's awesome. Where's it in Orange?
It's in Orange, yeah. We all went once on a field trip. I don't know if you were with
Oh,
us.
it's down like a road, and then we stopped on
Yeah.
the road.
We
We were
went
with a
a couple
couple people.
times.
Yeah, I think I've been there.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing much going on. I mean, you're I don't know. If you want to bring your, like, devices and see if anything's happening. I personally don't feel like a lot of spooky things happen in cemeteries.
I
have
agree.
feelings about that.
Yeah.
You'll hear a lot of urban legends. There was one out in Gardner or Leominster or someplace that said, at midnight you'll see someone hanging from a tree. And I'm like, that stuff doesn't happen in cemeteries, guys.
No.
And I'll tell you why. This is a sacred ground.
Yeah.
People are blessed
Preach.
and put into the ground, and this is their space. So nothing spooky's going to happen.
I actually feel more
That's
relaxed in a cemetery.
This is a safe place. Yeah.
Right? Than I do around other people, because there's energy there.
Sure.
But there's not like living energy there.
Everyone's put to rest.
Yeah.
They are good.
Yeah, they are good.
My dad used to say, and I was talking to you guys about this earlier, my dad said if you ever get lost anywhere, look for the nearest cemetery, because nothing will ever hurt you there.
Yeah, I love that.
Always.
It's true.
Wise words.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't really think of any.
No,
Like
you can go there to
spooky-
scare yourself if that's
Yeah.
what you want, but nothing's going
If
to
you
come
want to go
get
in the
you.
middle of the woods in the night in a cemetery, go
Yes.
for it.
Yeah.
That will be scary.
That'll
but-
do it for your imagination will do the job
Yeah.
for you.
Now, I have to say, though, that when my husband and I went to Greenmount Cemetery in Montpelier
Mhm.
a few weeks ago, and we went solely to see the Black Agnes
Mhm.
statue. And there is something, and I don't know if it's like a pull or just the fact that you know the legends. For those of you who don't know Greenmount Cemetery, it's in Montpelier. It's the largest cemetery there. The most hated man ever in Montpelier is buried there. His name was John Hubbard. And he has a monument dedicated to him that is called Black Agnes. It actually is Thanatos. It's the Greek word for death. He's the god of death. It looks like a her, but it's actually he. It's a god of death, and supposedly there is a legend that goes with that if you sit on Black Agnes's lap at midnight, that you will have something terrible happen to you within 7 seconds, 7 minutes, 7 hours, or 7 weeks, or 7 days. So, I mean, that's kind of weird when you think about that and that starts to run through your head. And I can only imagine what it looks like at night. But I'm going to put some pictures. I'll post some pictures on our Instagram.
Yeah, check out our Instagram.
It's one of the most beautiful sculptures I've ever
It's really
seen.
pretty. I've seen it. And I've been
gorgeous.
there at night.
It's gorgeous.
It's amazing.
But there is something about that cemetery that is... it almost feels like there's some type of a pull or vortex or something.
There's more
that's
than
there.
one legend there, too.
Yeah.
There's the little girl.
I love the little girl
The
one.
little girl situation.
I love the little girl one. Oh, that one's great. There's a little girl memorial there. I can't remember her name. I'll have to look it up. But the sculptor that did her stone had a picture to go by, and he did the sculpture and everything. And the parents were furious. They said, "How could you leave off a button off of her boot?" And he showed them the picture, and sure enough, there is a button missing from her boot in the picture. And if you go to the stone, you can see where he sculpted the little tiny button is missing. I mean, such attention to detail. It's just there's so many beautiful art there's so much beautiful art in that cemetery. I don't think I've ever been anywhere like that. And unfortunately right now it looks kind of awful because of COVID. They haven't been doing the maintenance. Like, it's all weeds now. It looks like it's an overgrown cemetery, which
bummer.
It's usually immaculate. And it's right now, it just looks like it's overgrown. And the only ones that are taken care of are the ones that say perpetual care.
Yes.
I had never seen that before. An actual granite stone that says perpetual care.
Yeah,
It's a great name for a band.
Yeah, perpetual care.
Right?
Oh, that's our goth band.
I sing for perpetual
We're perpetual care. Thank you. Oh,
Come
yeah.
back again.
Tip your waitress.
But I was so interested in, Sarah, in the article that you published. I think it was on the cemetery site that we used to be members of. The article about how to take care. I had no idea that there are places that you couldn't do the rubbings. I didn't know anything about that, and I learned so much from what you wrote. I don't think a lot of people know that.
Apparently not.
Yeah.
No, which is unfortunate because it's really important to know these things for the preservation of these sacred spaces and stones that were made years ago that are irreplaceable.
And what happens over time, it's just the erosion?
Yeah, weathering will do it. I mean, we're out there today. You see they get knocked over either by people being jerks or just erosion, or, a tree catches on. A tree definitely got hit by lightning and hit the ground and might have taken somebody with it. But natural disasters, weathering.
And people. I would say people have been the biggest issue that I see, unfortunately. What's the name of the cemetery in North Adams?
Hillside.
The Hillside Cemetery.
Yeah, it's in bad shape.
Yeah.
A quarter of their stones are knocked over. Some so bad. Some of them are so bad that you can see the vault. I mean, it's really bad. There's one corner of that cemetery where it looks like no one ever goes. And I'll post pictures of that too. It was really weird. But everything over in this one section is knocked down completely.
I've seen a lot of that. South Street Cemetery in Brattleboro is having problems. Yeah, it's sad.
And there are places where there are towns within Massachusetts. I know, I don't know outside of Massachusetts, but there are a lot of towns that have grant funding inside of their town budget where people can apply to go and take care of certain graves. Like if you want to say, I'll go in and fix or, have, help out with 10 different graves, and they'll give you so much money for the use of your time, your equipment, things like that.
See, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
When I did my post talking about cemetery care, I did find a really great resource of folks who, it's called heavensmade.com, and they are a group that actually restores and cares for gravestones and cemeteries, and they know how to put a gravestone back together, how to clean it properly, if it's broken, how to repair it safely. They're on it.
Awesome.
And that's
fantastic.
a great resource, and you can contact these people and hire them, or just get notes on what to do yourself if you can. But really, you should reach out to your cemetery commission or EPW before you do anything.
So a lot of people don't know about actually people go out trying to take care of these graves, and they actually don't. They think they're doing good, but they're actually doing a lot of harm, which we were I talk about a lot with Sarah is like, it's unfortunate that a lot of people don't know. And that's why we want to talk about this too, because we were all in this group. And this is where your post about graveyard etiquette originally came up. Was there was a bunch of people on there who were like, we let them know, like, hey, like, just to educate you, we know you're trying to do the right thing, but you're actually harming these graves. You aren't doing it correctly.
Right.
And we gave them all these resources, all this stuff, and they basically said, fuck you.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
It wasn't great.
It wasn't great.
Disappointing.
So we are no longer
Since
on.
exited that
We
group,
have left and started our own
And
scene.
so we started our own group.
It was really, I mean, people don't realize, I think, these are all environmental issues. I mean, there's environmental issues involved in this, and they just don't think about before they go. I know I had no idea. I used to do rubbings all the time, and then I read what you said, and I'm like, oh my God, I've been doing this all these years, and I didn't realize I was, possibly doing significant harm. And even I remember when I was in school, teachers used to take you out to do those things.
Right. Did you do the wax paper and the crayon?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like totally normal.
Yeah,
People do
totally
that.
normal.
Yeah.
And I think in some situations, if you talk to the right people, you might be able to do it. But like in general, you need to like do your homework first before you even go there. Because just touching the stones in general, like you need to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Just to be careful. And definitely the one that set me off and what started this is the guy literally rubbed chalk on the stone itself, covered the stone in chalk so he could read it. And I'm like, wow. No.
And he was so proud of
And he was
himself.
so proud of himself. I'm like,
Well, this on the
man.
group? I don't know if I saw this.
Yeah,
Oh my
that
God.
stupid group.
Oh,
yeah.
so disappointed. I'm like, that's not okay.
Mhm.
You just
Yeah.
destroyed something. That's not, not only is this like just inappropriate and not good for the stone or the environment, that's someone else's stone. That's someone
Mhm.
else's life. That's like really
Their
like,
history.
inappropriate. Yeah.
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 So come on.
Come on, guy.
And we tried, and he was just like, it's fine. I'm like, is it?
Is
If
it?
it's fine,
No.
then why are we talking about
I
this?
thought we were really friendly
We
about
were. I
being
was
like,
extremely
yeah,
friendly about
we
it, but
couldn't have
people
been more
don't like to
friendly.
be called out on things.
Oh, no.
And people on that particular page really didn't like being called out, or they would, or you'd put something on there that you thought was really neat, really cool. Oh, we went to this cemetery and we saw this, we saw the hand with the finger pointing up. That was really cool. And they'd be like, oh, been there, done that.
Yeah.
What was the point in that comment?
Or people were stealing other people's
Yes.
photos and claiming them as their own.
I deleted everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too. I went on and deleted all her
Yeah, it was
pictures I put on
disappointing.
there.
It was just a lot of bad behavior, and that's
Yeah.
not what we're about.
That's
No.
bad.
Actually, do you want to go through your posts?
I could.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's do that.
I loved it so
And we
much.
can talk
Thank
about it.
you. So it started off with me saying, now that COVID is in full swing and it's getting warm out and everyone's getting out and about, people are out hitting the hiking trails and going to parks and going outdoors, probably more than they ever had in their whole life, which is good and bad because, it's a little crowded out there, but I hope everyone's behaving. One of the greatest places to just go for a walk, like a quiet walk, is through a cemetery, and I encourage it. However, this is a sacred place. You really need to know rules and follow them and be respectful, because this is a burial ground. Your family, your friends, their families, everybody's here. On my list of things, first of all, what we just talked about: don't create rubbings with chalk or chemicals that could destroy the stone. You can, if you do want to find a way to create these kind of rubbings or any takeaways, contact the city or town, DPWs. There's usually cemetery commissions, and you can talk with them and they can point you in the right direction. But you can also take photographs. There's ways you can do it. Oh, you can't see it? Well, lighting is very important. A certain time of the day, you can kind of angle with your camera and you will be able to see. Some of them are so worn out, you may not be able to read it, but you can do what you can do. You can also use some specific lighting to get a good photograph so you can read it. There's books, for instance, the Historic Deerfield actually has a book listing all of the gravestones in their cemetery. So you can read everything.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's
I need
neat.
to buy this
Oh,
book.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's there. I gotta go get it. So you can find literature too, depending on the burial site. A lot of people put a lot of work into this. So do your homework.
Mhm.
Read some books.
Education is really
Education
great.
is key, and you'll learn a lot. This is a great way to learn history. Other things. Yeah, many cemeteries are open to the public from dawn to dusk. Yeah, make sure you know the time frames. They may not allow pets. They may not allow bikes. So just read all the instructions. Make sure you're plan ahead. My favorite one. Don't litter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You would be surprised. Like, I shouldn't ever have to tell people not to litter, but if you go in there and you're bringing snacks and you're doing things, if you're smoking a cigarette, take it out with you. You know, don't leave anything there.
And if there's a full trash barrel,
there's usually trash barrels there too.
Leave all your stuff on the side of the trash barrel.
Yeah, if that's full, you know
just
what?
take it home.
Bring a little bag with you. It's, come on.
And the same people that would respect those rules at a state park really don't think about that being the case at a cemetery. Treat it like a state park. I mean, don't leave anything there that if you brought it in, take it out.
This is your planet. This is your cemetery. Yeah. This is your yard.
This is history. This is education, history, all those things. And it's very personal.
I shouldn't have to tell people this, but let's remind everyone just for fun.
Right. If your mother or loved one was buried there, would you leave trash on their grave? Maybe, but most of us wouldn't.
Right, most of us wouldn't.
I'd like to think no.
Yeah, probably not. Just saying.
Oh, and this one actually happened to me recently with my mom, taking my mom for a drive to see some cemeteries. Oops, funeral in progress. It happens. Guess what? These are active places. Some burial grounds are closed and they are not used for burials anymore. You're pretty much safe. But if you're at an active cemetery, you might accidentally run into a funeral in progress. So what do? We zip it, make sure our phones aren't doing anything, and we stay away. This is someone else's time. You just walk in the other direction. It's cool. You didn't mean to stumble upon it, but don't interrupt it. This is a very important time, and this is an active cemetery, so please respect people's privacy.
Yeah, and don't continue taking pictures around.
Don't take pictures. If you're doing a photo shoot, you take that somewhere else, please.
Yeah.
Isn't it weird that you have to tell people this? It's just so...
I'd like to think nobody would do that, but...
I'm sure somebody would.
Here I am.
Ta-da!
We were driving. We were just doing a drive-through. It's like, hey, I found a beautiful cemetery, the Arms Cemetery in Shelburne. And I just took my mom for a drive around to loop and just see it. And as we were driving, I was like, oh, there's a lot of cars here. Oh my goodness. Okay, so and we kind of snuck away. I'm like, well, I'm going to avoid that. That's not where we should be right now.
It's always going to be there.
Yep. Yeah, we'll be back later. So I don't think we disturbed anyone. But yeah, if you see anything, you don't go near that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So also in the spirit of, if you are driving, if you're not on foot, if you drive in, stay on marked paths, use parking areas. Don't park on anyone.
Yeah.
Basically. I don't know. I think that's as far as I got, just basic common sense. Common sense is, we hope people have more of it these days, but
yeah. Oh, and definitely read at almost every cemetery there is a billboard of some sort that kind of tells you the rules of the cemetery.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Each one is different. Even if you're in the same town, each one is so different. Like Sarah said, I've never seen one that allows pets.
Yeah, I don't think I have either.
It says no pets, no horses.
Depends on where you are.
Yeah, no running or jogging. So it all depends on where you are, and each one's so different. So definitely read that, and because there's usually one person that takes care of the cemetery, and they're usually there.
Yeah.
And that's their job. To me, it's like you got to respect, them taking care of it. You got to respect if there's a funeral going on. Like if it was like I love's funeral, and somebody had this barking dog running around, and somebody's zipping by exercising, I'd be pissed.
Yeah. It would just be awkward. Yeah. Definitely.
And I think that New England in general has more family cemeteries than I think I've ever seen anywhere. In terms of it being just on somebody's private property, and for people to make sure they respect that.
Yeah.
Some of these cemeteries are private. Don't just pull off on the side of the road and assume that cemetery beside somebody's house is open to the public.
Yeah, that's
it probably
a really
isn't.
Good point.
There's a lot of that here.
Yes.
There's a lot out here.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
I've seen farmhouses that had little cemeteries.
Oh, yeah. I always wondered, and this is probably a silly question, and one of the things that I wonder about at 3 o'clock in the morning when I wake up. I actually did wake up one morning going, honey, tapping my, what do you think happens when this happens? I always wondered, if you buy a house and there is a private family cemetery on the property, do you now own that cemetery?
Ooh, that's a good realtor question.
If so, would you just simply be allowed to plow over it? I mean, if you didn't, I own this 100 acres and here's a cemetery on my property. I don't like that. That's creepy. Can you just literally plow over it?
So if you can, I have never say that cemeteries are haunted, but if you do that, it will be haunted.
I think so. Yeah. I just wonder about that. I mean, what do you, and can the people who sold well, I guess that's an agreement between the people who sold the house and the people who live there now. But I don't know. I wonder about the complications and the legalities of
Like they
private
have
cemeteries.
to tell you if there's a cemetery on the ground.
Now, I watched a documentary
I
one
think so.
time. I watched a documentary about this that said that if a cemetery goes so many years without being kept up, even private cemeteries, that they're no longer, no longer legitimate. And I don't know how you can illegitimize a cemetery, but especially public cemeteries, if they go so long without being taken care of, I think it's 3 years or 6 years. I'm gonna have to find the link to that documentary.
please
It's
do.
really good.
Yeah, that's
If
a very
anybody
interesting
knows
question.
out
That
there,
eventually
know.
it just, you can pretty much do anything with it. You can mow it down, you can send a bulldozer, you can do whatever.
I would hope someone would help you relocate everything.
That's super
I mean,
scary. Yeah.
The Quabbin, all those towns had to relocate their
Yeah.
burial grounds, and they're all in a new location, which is not far from the Windsor Dam if you want to go and
Isn't that a great cemetery?
explore
it's
that
great.
cemetery. It's
we
amazing.
were just there a couple
Yep.
weeks ago.
Really
It
good
was
history.
Fantastic.
So that's people can relocate cemeteries. I'm sure it's not pleasant, but people do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great history about the Quabbin. We'll have to do a whole nother.
Absolutely.
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 Yeah.
We'll have to talk about, too, like places that we've been, cemeteries we've been to that are places where people might want to go. I mean, public cemeteries where they could go and take a nice walk or be able to kind of discover some history. It'd be nice to kind of make a
Greenfield River
list.
Cemetery.
That's
Let
a
me
nice
tell
one.
you,
Mhm.
yeah, it's a beautiful one, Greenfield, Mass. Pretty easy to get to.
Yeah, that's the one thing I wanted to add after my list of do's and don'ts. It's like, don't be afraid of cemeteries. They are not scary
Nothing to be
places.
afraid of.
The media, all your ghost story books and movies show cemeteries as the scary place where all the monsters and ghosts come out. It's not like that. That's
I think
just
it's scarier everywhere else.
I think I'd be more scared in New York City or Boston
Oh my
than I
God,
would be in a
right.
cemetery.
I'm like pro haunted house, but
Yeah.
like haunted cemetery, not so much.
Not so much.
Just go and enjoy. It's a place where you can find peace, you can reflect, just take a walk.
Find beautiful art.
Yep,
Oh.
really beautiful monument art to learn history. Just it's okay. You can walk there, and there's a lot of stigma about burial and death. Find those places. It scares them because death can be scary, or you're sad. You mourn the fact that all these people are gone, and maybe someone in your life's gone, and the whole idea of a cemetery is very tragic for you.
It's a reminder of your own mortality.
It is, but just face that and see what you can do with that.
Seize the moment.
Well, I think that's a great place to end.
Yeah,
What do you
I
guys
think so.
think? Mom?
I thought that was awesome.
I love you.
I do. You're so
Thanks,
cute.
Leah.
That was very deep.
I've just been sitting here.
6 feet deep.
Yeah. I've just been sitting here staring at your necklace. Your necklace is lovely.
I like yours too.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's so fun.
Nice.
Nice.
I'm good at that.
We'll have to do a whole segment on yard sales at some
Oh
point
my
because they have
God.
the
Oh,
greatest
yeah.
stuff
So
here
much to
and
say.
free piles.
Yeah. So guys, so usually as always, make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. New episode out now every Friday. Please send us your questions, mindfulwitchery@gmail.com. We also have our Instagram, Mindful Witchery Podcast. You can DM us there, and we will be posting a ton of pictures surrounding this, like graveyard pictures and all the stuff we talked about.
And thank you so much, Sarah, for all of your information. That was so helpful, and hopefully people will take that to heart and mind about the things that you said, because it is important to take care of our history, and cemeteries are part of our history.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, guys. This was fun. I appreciate
And
it.
thank you, Lee, for coming and joining
Thanks
us.
for
I
listening.
had a fun day with you, Lee.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
All right, guys, have a wonderful day.
See you soon.
Bye. Hey guys, this is Sarah coming in from the future again. So my mom's part of this podcast actually got cut out a bit, so this is us in the future a bit, and I am kind of redoing her interview. So say hello, Mom.
Hello, everybody.
So I wanted to have my mom kind of repeat the stories that she told about her introducing herself a bit and just kind of see where it goes. So it's just no Lori today, no Sarah, just my mom and I. We just, we're going to get some lunch. We're going to get some Thai food. So
Yes, I'm looking forward to that.
yeah, me too. At Thai Blue Ginger in Greenfield. You guys should totally go if you haven't.
Yes, it's very good.
So I just went back and re-listened to what we were talking about. We were in Sarah's studio, and my mom, I was asking her to introduce herself. So I want to say your name and, just where you grew up and things like that.
Hi, my name's Lee. I'm Sarah Fry's mom. So hello, everybody. I grew up near the Boston area in Stoneham, and I now live here in Vermont. So just a beautiful place to live. I'm a school bus driver, and that's an adventure on its own. I'm happy to be here today, and
How long have you been a school bus driver?
over 20 years.
Wow.
Oh, I've seen it all.
What's your favorite part of the job?
Seeing the kids every day.
What's your least favorite part of the job?
The least favorite
You can be
part.
honest here on this podcast.
Probably mud season.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
yeah.
Actually, there's a lot of people who don't know about mud season.
Oh, okay. Well, mud season is just as bad as ice. And also, you get stuck. And the only way to get out of the mud on these dirt back roads of Vermont is with a tow.
Mm-hmm. It's true. Yeah, like, I feel like it's a whole different season, like, in between winter and spring.
Yeah, you don't think about it, but, it can be icy and everything. It could throw you right off the road. So it's pretty tough, mud season. So that is what I had to learn when I moved to Vermont. That was a whole nother season I didn't know about myself.
Do you like living in Vermont? That's Lori and we love Vermont, but I have the same reaction, like,
Yeah, it probably wouldn't be my main choice. I'm there because that's probably a good reason why I am there. But I am there for now. It doesn't mean forever, and it's working for me right now. So will I be there forever? I doubt it.
Yeah. Actually, you'll listen to in a couple weeks, but Lori and I had this, we talked about already in this podcast, but Lori and I were talking about Southern Vermont and Brattleboro and Bennington and how weird it is and how it's so different from the rest of Vermont, and how I kind of talk about how I don't like Brattleboro because it's weird. It has these, it's very odd. It's
Very
an odd
odd.
place.
Yeah.
In Bennington, and you'll have to listen to it. But
Yeah.
so I brought my mom on here today because we went to the Green River Cemetery, and my mom, and what we talked about in the interview that you guys won't hear is my mom and I love traveling down south a whole bunch, and she was talking about some of the places we've seen down there. So do you want to talk about that?
Down south, it's definitely very beautiful. I love the warm air. I'm not a big winter person, so Sarah and I do venture every year and go down south. I do a lot of traveling with Sarah, so I look forward to that. It's a little tough right now, but hopefully in the future it will get better. But we go to Charleston a lot.
Yeah, in South Carolina.
Yeah.
Has some amazing cemeteries.
Yeah, we've been to a few cemeteries, and it's really a different vibe. It's just so old and so much history, and
the trees in the cemeteries.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
It's really very peaceful. We look forward to going to cemeteries down there.
And we went to a new one.
Yeah, it was huge.
Where we go, end of February. Before COVID happened, we were actually.
It was the end of January.
End of January, we went to the Magnolia Cemetery, which is a famous cemetery attached. It's not near the Magnolia Plantation, but it's associated with it somehow, and it was the most beautiful cemetery.
It really was. You didn't want to leave there because it really very peaceful. A big cemetery to walk around. There was so many beautiful cemetery stones to see, and
the ones
statues.
Downtown too, like downtown Charleston. There's all these old churches near the historic part, and you can actually just walk through their cemeteries. They're all slate. Like, there's amazing artwork.
Yeah, and you could read it better down there. Did you notice that?
Yeah, because they don't get the snow.
Winter, yeah.
Winter really messes things up.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Cars, everything.
Slate lasts longer, and up here, I don't know the complete history, but in the mid to late 1800s is when they started doing marble, because the white looked really nice, because they started making them more like parks. They started making them look more like parks so people can go there. And the marble doesn't last. It gets weathered really easily compared to slate. Fun fact. I don't know the correct dates with all that, but you can sometimes see the slate always lasts longer than
that
the
makes
marble
a lot
ones.
of sense. Yeah.
And most people don't even realize they're supposed to be bright white because they're so weathered and gray now.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you have any paranormal stories you want to share, or like spooky stories, or any place you've been that is weird?
Well, geez, I can't really say anything with cemeteries. There's nothing but good whenever I'm there. I don't feel any bad or anything. It's actually a fun place to go have a nice lunch under a tree and just take all the history in. But weird paranormal, I'll have to I remember as a kid, okay, I was a teenager, and when I lived in my grandmother's house, it was an old Victorian house, and my brother lived up in the attic. He had the whole attic. He did it all over. It was beautiful. And when he moved out, I moved up into the attic. And I think I only lasted like 2 days because the feeling up there was so heavy. I just couldn't get any sleep. And it was very heavy. It was just something you're always looking over your shoulder.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I ever told you that, but
no, I know the story. Yeah.
But yeah, I actually moved back to my bedroom downstairs because that's the only bad feeling I really ever got.
Yeah, and it's almost like it feels like dead air almost.
Yeah,
but
very
you can
dead
feel the
air.
electricity
As soon
in
as
the
you
air.
walk up into the attic, and I said, yeah, this isn't gonna work for me.
I always think cemeteries never have any energy in them. It's
No.
good. It's very neutral.
Yeah,
But houses for me, that's when I feel.
I agree.
Stuff.
I have that at work when I walk in the office. It's just not a good building.
That's what we were saying. I always feel like it's houses to me the most, or there's some towns that I go in, and just collectively the energy there, just the vibes there, you can just tell there's something off or there's something weird with it.
Yeah, I do agree, and I'm sure a lot of people feel that.
Yeah, and I don't know if everybody can pay attention to it as much. Do you feel like you're more sensitive to it?
I just know.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah, my apartment I'm in now, I've never felt anything in. Ever. Which is so weird because it's such an old house. It's from it's over 100 years old maybe.
Yeah, it's
but
beautiful.
The moment I got here, I didn't feel anything. But I've been in other people's homes, and I'm I
gotta get out.
Yeah,
get
I'm
out.
all set.
Get out.
And whatever you believe in, I still think energy is energy. And it's not some people oh, how can energy attach itself to things? But energy doesn't go anywhere. So it could still stay where it's at. There could be emotional energy attached to the
Yeah,
things.
absolutely. Very true. Everything has energy.
Yeah.
Everything. Everything's alive, and yeah, you feel it. If it's still sticking around, you feel it.
It's our gift. Feel it.
Well, I know you, Laurie, definitely feel it 100% more than I do. I can actually deal with that. But I have a friend, Jen. Hi, Jen.
Hi, Jen.
Who also feels everything. And sometimes she doesn't know if it's her or somebody else.
Oh, I hear you.
And I know you and Laurie go through the same thing.
Yeah, we should have Jen. Jen, you should come on this.
Oh, definitely, Jen. You'd be awesome on here. So, so that's it. I miss traveling. Hopefully we'll be able to go away soon. We were supposed to go to Germany back in May, but...
That's true. Oh, so many cemeteries.
Yeah, we were looking forward to that, and I'm sure there's a lot of history there, and good and bad. So, hopefully next May we'll be able to venture off to Germany and Austria, and
we'll just have to see.
We will see, but we'll get there sometime, and I'm sure we'll have more stories. Can I just say one little thing?
Oh, of course.
When everybody was talking about the cemeteries, and it's a nice place to go, and there's other countries that really make a whole day of it. They go to the cemetery, and once a year they bring the family, food, gifts, and it's a community thing, and they their loved ones are supposed to come back that day. It's sort of like the Day of the Dead type of
that's
thing.
what I was going to say. Like in the Mexican culture,
They do
Latin
it
American
there.
culture,
Yep.
death is celebrated.
They celebrate.
Because they celebrate death as like a good job. You did a good job. They celebrate. Yeah, which is very different from
absolutely.
our
and
culture.
They have fun, and their family get together, and they eat right on the grave, and they clean it, bring flowers, and it's actually very, very peaceful and healing for people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've always felt that's where I can be my best self.
Yeah,
it sounds so
it's
creepy,
a good thing.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing. I'm like, why not celebrate?
Is.
Why be like, you can be sad about somebody who passed away, but why not celebrate them? Still be happy.
Absolutely.
Not happy that they're dead, but like happy that they were in your life.
Yeah, and you tell stories and good things, all the good things.
Yeah, like my yaya, my grandmother.
Yeah,
we totally celebrated.
Oh,
when she
absolutely.
Passed away. We played music. I think it was a sad thing, but we always go out to Chinese food.
Yeah, we do every year for her birthday.
Year. Yep,
we go
we
out.
Play music and we let balloons go and.
Yeah, absolutely. Because she wouldn't want you to be sad.
Oh, no. She was great.
She'd be dancing right now on her. Nobody would want you to be sad. No. So all good things. We talk about her every day.
Yeah, I'm glad you shared that.
Yeah, but yeah. So, thanks for listening.
Thanks, guys, for tuning in.
I had fun.
Us from the future, and we hope you enjoy the rest of our podcast.
Bye.